Hello and welcome back. I hope everybody is doing well. Today I was watching Cheryl's video on the mini album that she was creating and I just had to try one. I didn't have enough of the rings, so she used rings like this. I didn't have two of each colour, I've only got the one. So I wanted to come up with some other way to create the album with the things that I had on hand. So this is a little prototype which I will show you. This one uses Sunny Days. She has a gorgeous like beaded elastic closure. I don't have any thin elastic, so I went for this thicker piece here. This is stitched, and then you've got, she uses vinyl. You could use vinyl or cardstock. And then this is how I have added my pages in. And then obviously it's just an album like so. And then the pages on the inside flip like a normal book, just like this. So I thought while I was making a second one, I would come on and show you a really quick tutorial because I think everybody has these supplies in their stash. This also fits in very nicely with my No Buy July because I have used all scrap papers to create this. So you need quite small pieces of paper. I think everybody has like a couple of 12 by 12 sheets left and then loads of scraps. And this is perfect for those collections, the ones that you've just got those few. Before I show you how to make your own one, please do like this video if you're enjoying it. Please do subscribe as well if you aren't already, and click the bell icon and you'll be notified when I post more crafty videos. So I will show you how I have created this little cutie now. So I will leave all of the measurements down below for you. This one I'm going to create using the new Dear Lizzie collection, the Here and Now, and I have got all of my little measurements here next to me. Like I said, I'll leave them all in the description with sort of explanations, so hopefully you can follow that. But to start off with, you are going to need your chipboard pieces. I don't use chipboard, I think I've mentioned this loads of times on the channel before. I use this craft card and I just double it up, and it works exactly the same. So for the size album that I am making, you are going to need 4 pieces which are 4.5 by 4 inches. Here they are. And then 2 pieces which are 2 inches by 4 inches, and you're literally just doubling those up. So it doesn't matter what colour or anything they are, they're going inside, you won't see them. Then you will need your front, back and spine pieces. These ones are 3 7/8 of an inch by 4 3/8, and then the spine one is 1 7/8 by 3 7/8. So you're just shaving off 1/8 of each measurement. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's those pieces. And finally, for this part, you will need a piece which is 12 inches by, I would say this is about 5 inches. This is actually vinyl. I got this idea completely from Cheryl. This is exactly what she was using. You could definitely use cardstock if you don't have vinyl, but I have so much of this Cricut vinyl. When I first bought my Cricut, I loved the vinyl projects and I bought a bunch of the Cricut vinyl, not realising that it wasn't permanent. And then I found a shop local to me that sells permanent vinyl, so I've been using that for my actual those kind of projects. So this has just been sitting in my stash for literally years at this point. So this is the perfect project to use it up. The first thing I'm going to do is just stick these pieces together. I'm just going to use some double-sided tape because they will be encased in the vinyl, so they don't need to be stuck together perfectly well. As long as they're holding, that's absolutely fine. I will probably fast forward you at random points throughout this, anything that just sort of takes a while and is very repetitive, so I won't keep saying that I'm going to fast forward you. If I do, you know it's just me doing something repetitive. I'll try and put some nice music on or something so you're not all totally bored when that happens. But this is very much just sticking and peeling double-sided tape. Not very exciting, and I'm sure all of you know how to do that by now. On to the next part, constructing the outside of your album. So you want to get your vinyl or your cardstock, whatever you're using. If you're using vinyl, you want to peel it off. Sorry, I'm getting it all stuck everywhere. Peel it off and have it sticky side up. Again, this is totally inspired by Cheryl, so please do go over and make sure to check out her channel. The one that I made previously, I actually used, I don't know how well you can see it, metallic vinyl, and it looks really cool with the Sunny Days collection. But this one, like I said, is just their non-permanent vinyl. Then you want to place that, you know, as central as you can. I'm already looking at that and I know it's not central. There we go, that's better. And then you want to leave a tiny gap for your vinyl to crease. Line them up. And then the same on this side. Whoop. Just trying to make sure that these edges are all flat. Then another tip that I picked up from Cheryl's video is cutting little corners so that your vinyl wraps nicely, or your cardstock, it would work the same. Yeah, I've definitely not put that central, have I? Oh well, it's being covered mostly anyway, so don't worry too much about getting it perfectly central. Then you literally just want to fold these bits over, and the good thing about vinyl, like she says, is that it's self-adhesive, so we don't need any adhesives or anything on this bit. You just want to smooth it out. Where is my score tool? That's what I usually use. I need to treat myself to a bone folder, but this one works just as well, so I don't know if it's necessary. Other thing that I'm noticing as I'm putting this together is that maybe this particular brand of vinyl is slightly see-through, which I didn't consider when I picked it, but it should be okay because it's going to be mostly covered. So there you go. And then because you've cut the little corners, this goes together really nicely. It gives you a nice crisp finish on the edges, even with this tiny piece. I cut that far too close to the edge, so you might want a bit that's a little bit bigger than this. I didn't measure it. I think the sheets are 12 by 12, which is how I knew that. But then you're going to need another piece, which is 3 7/8 by 11. I haven't cut this down to 11 yet. I wanted to work out what end I wanted it to be on, like what end I wanted to chop off. I think I'm going to chop off that end, so I'm just going to chop off an inch. Hopefully that's enough. So obviously it's 12 inches to start, so chopping off this end should give us a nice size to fit perfectly on here. There we go, fits on there with a slight border, which is what we want. The other thing you want to work out at this point is obviously what's going to be the front and the back. So I might do it that way so that this is at the front. This is my front cover, so yeah, I'm going to have it this way up. I usually add some tape to hold it in place and then glue. I have been using the Barely Arts glue and I absolutely love it. So it also gives you some time to maneuver the piece around, which I like. I often don't place things perfectly central the first time, so it gives me a chance to mess around with it and make sure it's in the right spot. Oh, I probably should peel the tape first, shouldn't I? Another thing I should really do is change the tip on this bottle. It's just so easy to leave the one fine tip on there. I get a bit lazy with it. Really should change it. That'll do. We'll have to just put something in this corner if it's bothering me, but it looks okay. Then you want to lightly bend your side up so you can work out where the spine is. There we go. And score that well and sort of work it up. Like so. There we go. If you do that while the adhesive's sort of wet, it gives you a chance to stick it back down once it's creased, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know how to explain it. Like, this part comes up when I'm working this, but obviously because the adhesive's still wet, I can just stick it back down and it all works out okay. And that is pretty much your basic album shape. I will give it a bit longer to dry, but that makes your basic album shape, and then the rest is just decorating it really and adding the pages. So you want to flip it over and add all your different pieces on the front, or your front covers. I've chosen this really cute cactus paper, which I absolutely love. It's really bright and summery and fun. So again, I'm going to do a strip of tape and then glue to make sure it's staying in place. So there's that piece, and then the front and the back I like to put on foam tape, but that's just personal preference. You don't have to do that. I've also stitched these, so I'm just cutting off the strings. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or if it will sort of unravel, but it never has before, so I'm hoping that that's the right way to do it. Who knows? So I like to put the foam tape onto these pieces and then cover it with adhesive. That way, again, you get that manoeuvrability, but also it stands up a little bit. Do you know what? I've forgotten a step. I'll just add the foam tape to this and then we will circle back, because if you add this now, you won't be able to add your elastic closure. I mean, you will, but you'll be able to see it. So, one moment. So you want to choose your elastic. I'm using this, which is Hobby Flora elastic. This was sent to me by a friend in a swap, so I don't know where to purchase this one, but I'm sure you can find similar wherever you are. And you just want to make sure that if it starts at the back, it will wrap around the front of your album and come back to the back. You want to make sure that the album can sort of stay at the desired thickness, if that makes sense. So I don't want to squish it. I feel like that's probably enough. So it'll go around to there, and it will still have enough to sort of open slightly, as you can see there. I don't want to hold it completely closed. I'm not that worried about it, and I know that I'm going to be adding pages, which will add bulk to it anyway. My hot glue gun is just warming up. I've forgotten to put it on, so I'm going to add the front piece, because we can do that. It doesn't matter to the elastic while that is warming up. This one is exactly the same as the back. I'm just adding foam tape. There we go, so that's our front cover on. It's already looking like a cute little mini album. Inside's pretty dry now as well. So let me see if my hot glue gun has heated up enough. Nope, right. We'll do this last then. I will show you how to add the pages. So you will need, however many pages you want, you're going to need 2 different sizes for each page. So these are the ones you're going to need first. These ones are 4 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches, okay? And then on one side you're going to want to score at 1/4 inch in. I will explain that to you later. And then for the other side of the pages you will want the same amount, but these ones need to be 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. So to add the pages in, first off you want to work out how many pages you're going to have. I have only cut 3 here, but I've decided to have 4 because I put 3 in the previous book and I feel like it's not as chunky, like it's not going to end up as chunky as I want it to, and you could definitely fit 4. So you just want to space those out best you can. Luckily for me, it looks as though this grid on my table is going to be really handy. So just going to mark it with this little all-in-one tool from the works, and then I will be making the actual holes with the small hole in my crocodile. I'm going to do the same this side. You could definitely work this out with a ruler or just eyeball it, whatever you want to do. I just try and make sure that the hole that I'm punching is completely on the card, so you don't want to sort of punch it half on the card, half on the vinyl piece down here. But other than that, it doesn't matter a huge amount. It depends if it matters to you where it punches on the back as well, I guess. But this is what's going to hold your strings in place. You can add eyelets onto these if you want to. I only have heart eyelets at the moment, which are this size, so that's what I will be using, but you could use any. So I also used heart eyelets on this one. Hopefully you can see those. So I've got 3 at the top and 3 at the bottom. Need to choose what colour to use for these ones. We're going to go for. So I went with the gold, I've just moved it over slightly. So I'm going to set these eyelets and then we will move on to adding the pages. There we go, all the eyelets in place. So to add the pages in, you're going to need some kind of twine or string or thread. This is what I had on my desk, so this is what we'll be using. Luckily enough it matches. I think I just got sent this in some mail recently, so these are the ones that we're going for. You need one of your longer pages, and depending on what way you want it to face, depends on what side you score. I want it to face forward, so I'm going to flip it over, score at 1/2 inch, and then just fold that in like so. Screw it down, press it down, sorry. I need to decide how I want these. So I put this through the first one. I'm going to start off with this colour. If you want to add beads, now is the time to do it. If you forget to do it on this step, like I did previously, you can use like a second string afterwards, a thinner one, put that through, add beads onto it. But I'm going to go ahead and add a few beads onto this now. Once you've got your beads on, you want to come back in this eyelet and then literally flip it over. Whoop, throwing beads everywhere now, and double knot this together. I don't know if this is just new to me. I've not seen it done quite like this before, but that might just be because I don't usually make mini albums. So I don't know if this has a name, like this technique or anything, but I just thought it was an alternative way instead of the rings for anyone who doesn't have those. So goes on like so. So you want to get your piece of paper, one of your pages, and thread it through the string, or under the string should I say. I think I've tied this one a tiny bit too tight, so keep that in mind when you're doing your pages, that you want to leave this with a little bit of give in it. I had to re-tie it, and I think that's where the difficulties come through. So you put it through to this little, to the score line. Then I just add some tape on the flap piece, so this piece over here, like so. Want to make sure it goes all the way to the top, so I'm gonna add another piece up here. If you have any excess tape on the ends, just flip it over with your finger. Then fold this over, stick it down. Literally as simple as that. It's a little bit harder to smooth it down because I've got the beads on there, but that will flip like a little page. And then you get one of your smaller pieces. Where have they all gone? And you can add it on like so. So you add it onto the back, and then when you turn it, you will have the 2 pages. I don't think I want that one. Next, I think I'm going to go for, do I want that one next? Because I will probably have, so when they flip closed, you will be able to see, like, they poke out a little bit more each time. So I'm happy with that arrangement. So I want one that goes with this. I will stick with the bike. Let's stick with that. So I'll show you how I'm attaching that quickly, and then I will go ahead and do the other 4 pages exactly the same. So I'll show you slowly again once more, and then the other 2 I will fast forward and come back to you when they're done. I absolutely love this. This is a 6x4 card, and I've just cut it down. So that's another thing you can use up with this project, all of your 6x4 cards. 6x8 papers would be great as well. Make sure you're lining this up with this edge. So you don't want it to go any further than this edge. If it comes over on this one, you can trim it. But this edge, not so much, because it will mess with the turning of your book, like the turning mechanism. So let me just check that that's on straight. There we go. And then that makes the little second page. It is overhanging slightly, so I will trim the excess off. This would also be the perfect time to add trims and things if you want to do that. I often add like pom-pom trim to the edge of the pages, and you would just do that in between the 2. So before you stick this one on, add your trim and then add this on top. So I'll show you once more the little string part. Obviously as well, you will need to allow more string if you're adding beads. So I want to use, I think I'll go for this colour. This one's a slightly lighter yellow. So from the inside out for the first one, then thread on any beads that you like. I'm just going to add the 2 on that one. Back through this eyelet. Flip the book over and tie a knot. You want to double knot this, triple knot it if you want. It's entirely up to you. Don't worry about it being like absolutely perfectly tight, because you want to be able to slot your page through. We learnt that the hard way on the previous one. So I'm going to put a 3rd knot in that one, just so it's definitely not going anywhere. Snip that one. Same with this as before. You want to score at 1/2 inch. So if you want this to be the front flip it over, score it half. I like to pre-fold this and make sure it's got a nice crisp score line. Slot it through under the string. You want to pull this one on top of the previous page. You're probably best working from the back forward, now I think about it, to avoid the other pages getting in your way. But you're sliding that through like so. Double-sided tape on this piece again. Remember to just tuck in any excess tape. Slide your string over to that score line. I'm going to tuck this the other way because it's too long to go that way. Fold it over, press it down. And there you go, you've got your second little page. And then, like I said, they sort of poke out a little bit more each time, which is super cute at the end. It gives it a really cute effect. And then, just like before, pick one of the smaller papers. Will probably be this one. Or maybe we could go for the... This is going to be our next big page, I think. So, yeah, that one looks okay. Otherwise, there's a bit too much... Yeah, a bit too much pink otherwise. So, same as all of the others. I'm going to put a bit of tape on here as well, actually, because I want to make sure it's definitely going to stay closed. If you want to stitch these before you stick them down, you can. If you want to add like pockets or that sort of stuff, that would be easy enough to do. You could just pre-make them and then stick them in, or stitch them, or whatever it is you want. This is really, really quick and simple to put together, and you don't need anything fancy. If you didn't have an eyelet setter, you could definitely just use a hole punch or even just a paper piercer. Just something that will stab through is basically all you need. There we go. Mind that out of the way. So then you've got your second page, and they do the same this way. They sort of stagger. So I'm going to go ahead and add the last two pages, and then I will come back and show you what it looks like. So I've finished adding my other pages. I have kept one out because I want to turn this into a pocket, and I will need to stitch the pocket on. So bear that in mind. But here are my 4 pages, and they flip quite nicely. This is the one that's got one missing. And then on the spine, I've added all sorts of beads. I've even added a charm. I wasn't sure how that would come out, but it looks super cute. I've definitely seen Paige Evans add charms and things to her binding, and there's loads of other lovely talented ladies that have done it. I think I will try and add a few more bits on here. I want a few more charms. Maybe I'll clip some on or something, but I thought that looks super cute at the moment. So the final thing we need to do is add the elastic. My hot glue gun is finally warm, so that's handy. I tend to start, I want it to be in a little bit, so probably here-ish. Oop. Hot glue and stick down your elastic. It is literally that simple. This is going to get covered, so I'm not too worried about it. Then you want to make sure it wraps around your book nicely, and glue it the same at the other end. Yeah, that will do. So I want it sort of the same distance. Oop. I really need to get a new hot glue gun. That one is such hard work now. There we go. Oh, trying to make sure it's the same distance in. Moved it over a bit without realising. I've usually got my little finger protectors, but I have misplaced it for now. They are definitely worth investing in if you haven't got them already. I got mine from Hobbycraft, and they're just like little rubber fingertip covers. I'm looking around my desk, but I can't see it. I used it earlier. I've obviously put it down somewhere, but it stops you getting your fingers burned, and it means you can flatten down the glue nicely as well. There we go. So that's our elastic on, and then the final thing to do is just add our back cover, and that will cover all of those messy bits very nicely. So I think I'll do it like this. It's going to be the easiest way. I love how it looks all laid out like that. I'm loving using more mixed colour palettes at the moment. I usually choose sort of like 2 or 3 colours and stick to that, but I got some swaps recently, some rosette swaps, and they used really mixed colour palettes and I absolutely loved it. So I thought this paper was the perfect one to give that a go with. Get out all the colours, see how colourful we can make it, especially since it's summer crafting. There we go. There's the back piece on. Then when we close it all up, you can just hook that round. Obviously, as this gets full up and the pages are chunkier, it will hold it nicer, but for now I'm happy with that, and you can see it from the top. Show you from the front. Obviously it needs embellishing and all that sort of stuff. The spine, and then the back. I hope you have enjoyed this little quick tutorial. Please do make sure to check out Cheryl because she totally inspired this. I hope you like the alternative way to add the pages and all the little bits of beads and charms and all that good stuff. Make sure to tag me if you give one of these a go. I love to see your creations, and I will see you again soon. Bye!